Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to the ASI Weekly Q&A with Shaykh Akram Nadwi on every Thursday at 6 p.m. GMT. Without further ado, Shaykh, we have some private questions, three to be more precise, so I'll start with those and then we'll move on to the questions in the comments. The first question that we have, an anonymous questioner asks about how to combat addiction to pornography. He keeps trying but keeps on slipping into the same mistake again and again and feels hopeless.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Any evil that people really get habit to do, it definitely needs a combination of two things: knowledge and action. And people have to force themselves for both of them. With the way Allah has made this world, that your intention not enough. You have to force yourself and do right things. When you know that what is the right, then you have to do it. So the first thing is the knowledge. Read the Quran, understand actually the consequences of the evils. That when people commit any evil, commit any sin, they are going to face, very severe consequences in the day of judgment. Allah is going to ask them the hellfire, all the suffering, and even this world, really, in this world, when people, do any evil or commit any sin, then they face it. The barakah goes from their life. And imagine really how can we live without the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is very important to understand that whenever we do any sin, we are going to face it. The enjoyment of the sin is very, very small, very short. But the consequences are very long and it's not easy to face. So the first thing is this, that we must understand it, read the Quran, read how Allah said that whatever people do, they have to face consequences. Second thing, action. You have to do the prayers on the time and do good deeds. Spend money in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be in the company of good people. Force yourself to be in the company of the good people and force yourself not to do evil. But if you still have don't have proper courage, then do something else. Sometimes you can make another that, oh, next time if I do something like that, I'm going to give 10 pounds in the path of Allah or 20 pounds, whatever it is. And then as soon as you do something like that, then give 20 pounds. First thing you do it. So then next time it will become difficult for you. So make some another. Sometimes maybe make another after fasting. That if I do evil like that, I'm going to fast 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. So anyway, you have to do combination of the things, and once you start, inshallah, Allah will help you.
Jazakallahu khairan, Shaykh. The next anonymous question is as follows. Is it wrong to invoke Allah's curse upon people you feel have wronged you, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim?
Yeah, we don't know really who you are and what will be their end, but you can make a curse, without naming people. Like you can say, may Allah curse unbelievers, may Allah curse wrongdoers, zalimeen. That's fine. And may Allah curse people who follow shaitan, iblis, but don't mention any name of any group or any individual because we don't know. Maybe next time they repent to Allah and they become good. And instead of cursing, best thing is to ask Allah to make them to repent, they become good people.
Ahsanallah ilayka, Shaykh. The next question is the questioner is asking that currently both political parties in the UK are extremely pro-Israel. What should Muslims do in this situation? Should we abstain from voting or go for the lesser of the two evils approach?
People when the time of election will come, really, people will forget everything. Then the issues that they are current at that time, that what will remain in the mind of the people. It always happens, really. You know, the political parties do so many mistakes, and they know that people forget very quickly. They have short memory, and then something else happens at the time of election, or they create something new, and then your mind changes. They know how to change the mind. I'm not so much, in the politics and all those things. Anyway, I don't know much. But my thinking is that Muslims should do what Allah wants them to do. Allah's way is that Muslims should improve their condition, reform themselves, obey Him and worship Him, and call other people to Islam. Go to the both parties and meet the people and remind them that their judgment and their own death and all that what we need to do. If we do that, then Allah will solve the problem. Then Allah SWT will change these people at their heart. In all these conditions are coming to at the end of the day from Allah. He is the one who in full in charge of every matter. And you can see whenever you ask Allah, things change. So the best thing I'll say is the Muslims should concentrate how to become nearer to Allah, how to worship Him, how to obey Him. And the second thing is to invite other people to Islam, to worship Allah, to obey Him. And you will see, inshallah, that this will change.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. We'll move on to the questions in the comments now. The first question comes. I washed my Ihram clothes and they smell of washing powder and conditioner. Can I do Umrah in them?
Yeah, yeah. No, once you have washed them, that's fine. That this is not, can't do more than that. So that's enough. Once you have removed everything, and if still some smell comes, that's fine.
Jazakallahu khairan. The next question is it sunnah to ask for people's forgiveness before going for Umrah?
No, it is not nothing. It's not like that. Really. Actually, nothing to do with Umrah. Whenever you have done some mistakes, you harm anybody, you hurt anybody, you have to ask them to forgive you. Whether you go Umrah or you don't go to Umrah, it's not connected with Umrah. It's every day. If I hurt you, I harm you, it is obligatory upon me to ask you to forgive me, because otherwise that will be sinful. So I don't know why people think when they go to Umrah, then they need to do something like that. You need to do all the time. If you have anybody, hurt by you, or you've taken somebody's wealth or money or property, you have cheated someone, you need to ask the people to ask you, you need to ask them to forgive you and return their money back.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Shahriyar, who asks, there are people around us with names like Rabbi, Razzaq, Raqib, Mujib, and other names of Allah. If we call them by their name, will it be sinful?
No, there's nothing sinful because names are not specific Allah. So there are things which are between Allah and between the people, and both have different meanings. Like many words in English, what you use, and they have different meanings. Like you say, child is running, the car is running, the plane is running. You use the word running, but for every noun, it has different meaning. So when you call someone Razak among the human being, it is just his name. But when you call Allah Razak, then it is different. So, but there are some specific names for Allah that you are not allowed to call anybody. Like for example, Allah. You can't make anybody Allah. That name is only for Allah. That should be avoided. Oh, like Ar-Rahman is for Allah alone. So people should be careful about that. But things that there are actually which are shared by the people, though they have different meaning. So the same word is used for Allah and the same word is used for other people, and they have different. Quran has used the same thing. In the Quran, the name of Allah is Aziz, Rahim, but Allah has used the same thing for the Prophet ﷺ. Azizun alayhi ma anittum, harisun alaykum, bil mu'minina ra'ufur rahim. So Quran has used here Aziz, Ra'uf, Rahim. All three names of Allah in the Quran have used for the Prophet ﷺ, but different meaning, not the same meaning. So you are allowed to use these names. The more problematic actually is Rahman. Many people have their name Abdul Rahman, and people call them Rahman. So that actually should be avoided, because Rahman Aras only have used for Allah. So Allah and Rahman both are very much just for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But other names, they can be used for human beings as well.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is, can I perform one single Umrah for both my parents who have passed away and are too unwell to do it themselves, or one separate one for each one?
The thing is, if the Umrah was sunnah for them, according to some madhhab wajib, So they should have done themselves. If they did not do, then somebody else does on their behalf. So you have to do one umrah for your mom, one umrah for your father, if it was obligatory or sunnah upon them. But if it's not, and you do just nafl for reward, then you can do what you have. You can do one umrah for both of them, and the reward goes for both of them. But if it is something part of their own umrah that they could not do, then you have to do one umrah for each one of them separately.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is, should I make personal du'as during tawaf and sa'i or do dhikr?
No, you should combine, do dhikr, do salat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make dua, do different things. Do when you're doing it, tawaf or sa'i, you can do anything. So do combination, combine things, some dhikr, some Quran, some salat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some duas.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Mahbuba, who asks, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What to do when we see some ingredients of a food product from the market are mushbuh? Is it better to avoid something which is doubtful, or is it better to give it the benefit of the doubt, by which of the actions we can be closer to Allah?
Thing is what mashbuh means really your income. Is your income pure or not? That's what you need to worry more. If your income is mashbuh, you should avoid, is halal income or haram or something like that. But when you go to the shops and you buy food, and there are some ingredients which could be from the animals which are not slaughtered properly or something like that, then you don't need to have doubt really. You can use them. You say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Unless it is more likely in your mind that haram, then avoid it. But still, it's not obligatory upon you to avoid unless you have certainty. But if you avoid, maybe it is better for your religion. But just some doubt. Doubts not enough in the matter. But doubts are enough in matter of your income. Your income should be pure, as clean as best as possible. That what Muslims should worry more. More people are worried about halal food and slaughter the animal and certified food. That's not important really. Important is how do you earn money. The money by which you buy the food. Is it pure money or not? That is the most important thing.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Sarah, who says, I have a transgender classmate that looks like a man. I didn't know she is transgender until recently. She is very smart and good person. I don't have friendships with men, but should I apply those guidelines to her? She is interested in women. Should I stay away completely?
Yeah, thing really is you can't show you know your intention to these people because sometimes they will think that you are unfair to them or hurting them. But be careful in your mind. You don't know really what the desire they have got. Somebody who was a man became a woman. It is just they have made up something. You don't know really how much. And sometimes they come back actually because they're never satisfied. So people like that, you should be very careful and have your relation with them. In the classroom, what you need, but not more than that. Avoid to have friendship with some people like that because you don't know. But you can make them to understand the Islam. You can explain Islam. If you want to do da'wah, that's allowed, but don't involve in any friendship because that will harm you.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Fatiha, who says, Salam ya Sheikh. How can we internalize the meaning of tawakkul in Surah Talaq? وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. Jazakallahu khairan.
Yeah, so this is about taqwa, not tawakkul. So these verses actually make it very clear that when people fear Allah and they obey Him or they avoid the sins because of His fear, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves these people and make everything easier for them and helps them from where they cannot imagine. But that should be sincere in your heart, not just to showing off. Taqwa is very, very important really. Once people get taqwa, then all the doors are open for them. Allah loves them, He makes it easier for them. That's what we need to do really. The whole Islam is to get taqwa. To get taqwa it is very, very important. And part of taqwa is also that I think it is part of Iman. There's many people understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they do tawakkul. They rely on him, they trust in him. And trust in him more than they trust in the means and resources. So anyway, taqwa is very, very essential. When taqwa comes, then all the problems are solved, inshallah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Ahmed, who says, Salam. Some people say that close to the end of times, people should not have children due to the fitna the world will be in. How can we reply to those people?
I think really people don't know anything in the time of the end time. Nobody knows anything. Even the Prophet ﷺ said, me and our are very close, but all the companions had so many children. So, though he said we are very close, nobody knows. And then no hadith like that, should not have children. Actually, people, hadith actually encourage people to do all the right things, even if the hour is very near. They should do. Having children is a good thing. Then people get reward for that. And if the children survive, they do ibadah, they get reward for that. So, there's nothing to do with this. And anybody who said like that, they don't know it. Because first thing, they don't know when the end of the day coming anyway. Second thing, they know nothing like that in the Quran and Sunnah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Anum, who asks, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can you share your reflections on the ayah in Surah Hashr? And be not like those who forgot Allah, and He caused them to forget their own selves. Those are the fasiqun. In the
Yeah.
ayah in Surah Ahzab regarding the jilbab, Allah. Sorry, I think this is the second question. Sorry.
Yeah, so the Quran basically makes very clear that people they should remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What remember of Allah means? Remember of Allah means remembering His commands. That whatever is that, Udhkurullah yadhkurkum. Remember Allah meaning it, remember His covenant, His commands, obey Him. Then He will remember you. And actually He says sometimes, Awfu bi'ahdi, ufa bi'ahdikum. Fulfill my covenant and I'll fulfill your covenant. So remembering Allah means to do what He has commanded and to avoid all the sins. The people who forgot Allah are the people who did not keep the covenant. They kept disobeying. That was fisq means. Fasaqa yafsiqu means to come out from the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is very, very dangerous really. So if people remember Allah's commands and they obey Him, then Allah remembers them. Then Allah gives them barakah, blessing in this one hereafter. But if people forget His commands, they disobey Him. They don't pray, they don't fast, they commit sins. Then in this world they will have no barakah, and in the hereafter they will be among those who will be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the meaning of remembering and forgetting. Remembering means to remember His commands and obey Him. And forgetting means to forget His commands and not to obey Him.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Ahmed, who asks, Salam, what is the correct view on the Amal of people of Medina? Imam Abu Yusuf accepted it with the Sa'ah of Medina, and it seems to be a strong argument. So why don't other madhhabs take it?
The thing is we know really more probably that something continues from the time of the Prophet ﷺ and from the Khulafa Rashidun until the time of Malik and people like that. Then yeah, we should follow it. The Sa'ah is something that continues. You can Sa'i the container. It could be from the time of Prophet ﷺ. So that you can accept. But there could be some sunnah that the people of Medina do. But we don't know really. It could have been changed by Banu Umayyah. So that is the argument of Imam Muhammad and many people that what people of Medina do is not necessarily coming from the Prophet ﷺ or from the companion. It could have come from Banu Umayyah, from people who changed the religion. So in that matter, all the cities are the same. So everybody does ijtihad. Imam Malik has done his own ijtihad. Layth ibn Sa'd has done his own ijtihad. He did not like Imam Malik's idea of people Amal of Madinah. And many people disagree with Imam Malik. They say the companions went everywhere. People have to follow them. That's why Umar al-Khattab sent them. He appointed companions as the teacher in the cities. So if people have not to obey them, then what a purpose? So Umar al-Khattab sent Abdullah Masud to Kufa, Ubadah al-Islami somewhere, and so many companions. Everybody has to follow them in their own city. They can't go to Medina to find what hour of Medina is. Imam Malik has good argument but it is not convincing to everybody. Allah has made the mind differently. So for us, really, that anybody is fine. Imam Malik, Imam Malik, Sa'ad, or Shafi'i, Abu Hanifa, whatever they do sincerely, you can follow any of them.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Sabina, who asks, can you share a few ways in which specifically sisters can appropriately share knowledge?
I don't understand the water. How can they share? People, I don't think there is sharing knowledge, anything with sisters or brothers. People could learn from each other, people can revise the books. Maybe, there's something else in mind which I didn't understand. Can you explain the question further so that I understand and answer properly?
We'll wait for Sister Sabina's response. We'll move on to the next question. So the next question is by Anum, who asks, in the ayah of Surah Ahzab regarding the jilbab, Allah says, the illa is so we be known and not annoyed in public. How does this illa apply to us today?
Yeah, the thing is that if people don't wear properly and don't cover themselves, so it basically means like they're interested that people look at them. So that I will explain in one of my classes. I don't know if you are part of Al-Salam Institute. I explained last week in Bukhari class that the reason Allah has commanded the men to cover themselves and the women to cover themselves. It is not that the men cover so to protect the women or women cover to protect the men. No. Allah has commanded women to cover so they protect themselves. They don't have wrong desire to attract people. Men cover themselves so they don't have wrong desire to attract the women. And if somebody is attracted, then they should control their eye. So that is actually more important thing that whenever people go outside, they wear a cloth, so people know that you are not evil. You don't want people to be attracted to you. So if somebody goes with short clothes and showing off, so people will think, oh, this person is a bad person. She wants people to look at him. Yeah, then they will treat you like that. The Quran said when you go in public, you go in such certain dress, so everybody knows that you are pious, you're pure, you don't want people to look at you. So that's very, very important. That but when people have a wrong clothes, so sometimes they basically enjoy that people look at them. So when you have your own intention like that, yeah, so corruption will come. So anyway, the meaning basically is that when men go outside, they cover themselves in order that they save themselves from having any desire that women look at them. When women go outside, they should make sure that they don't have any desire to attract the men. After that, if somebody looks at them, they will get sinful, not the women, not these people.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Shahriyar, who asks, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use Nar in one place and Jahannam in another? How should I comprehend the difference?
The Quran uses really different, like in this word, you use so many different words for different things. Yeah, it could be sometimes two words who have same meanings, could have something common, something different. Like the paradise, Quran use sometimes Jannah, sometimes Quran use the word Firdaus. That both are paradise. Maybe there are some differences. Same Jahannam, Nar, Jahim. So all different names, but they are part of the same thing. Jahannam could be the name of the whole thing. Nar is because it is fire, and Jahim because it is also burning fire. And Sa'ir, sometimes Quran uses the word Sa'ir. So Quran used for the Nar, for the fire, many, many words, not only Nar. So it could be sometimes used like the prayer, Salat. Quran sometimes calls Salat as Salat. Sometimes Quran calls Salat as dhikr, because you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes Quran calls it qira'ah, sometimes tasbih, sometimes ruku, sometimes sajda. All these are names of salah in the Quran. Sometimes hamd, because people praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So names could be given for any connection between two things.
Ahsanallah ilayka, Sheikh. The next question is by Ahmed, who asks, Salam, what is Sheikh's position on translation of Arabic into English/Urdu, Arabic books? These days, we are seeing people translate big books like Tafsir Razi and books on hadith terminology. Is this wise?
There are things that common people, lay people need in their religion. So we need to translate those things for them. Like a hadith about piety, fear of Allah. Like book like Riyadus Salihin. Similarly, the Quran, the Quran, the language of the people. So that should be translated into people's language, whatever in English would do whatever. But there are books which are written for the specialist people or the ulama. There's no benefit in translating them, like Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood. These books should not be translated, or Tafsir Razi, many parts. They are very much specialized works. So these things should be avoided. But even if you translate them, most people will not understand them. So the best thing is not to translate it. So anyway, simple matter is those things which are written for the people in their language, that should be translated. Like the Quran, like the many hadith, and like many things, how to pray, how to fast, how to ruling about zakat and hajj. But those things which are written for the specialists, like book like Bukhari, Muslim, and things like that, or usul al-fiqh, usul al-tafsir, there's no benefit translate that. They've created more confusion.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Rifat, who asks, in order to push ourselves better in studying, we two friends decided that if one of us will do better in the exam, the other one will treat the other one with some food. Is this betting or not?
Oh, there's like a giving prize. Betting will be if you get money. So for example, you both put £10 and say that whoever done better, he'll get out £20. That will be betting. But you don't have any money. You just say that if you do better, I'll give you food, or you do. So then that's not a betting, but that's like a rewarding the people.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Fariha, who says, are the parents allowed to hit their children, and on what situations is it permissible? Should we be held accountable if we hit our children?
Yeah, I mentioned so many times that our children are not our property. They are not owned by us. They are given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as gifts. So we have to, consider Allah, the laws and rules about them. Generally, people should not hit them. In some cases, it is allowed really, but it is a few conditions. One condition is you only hit if you are not angry. But most people, if they hit when they are angry, you should not be angry. Second thing is you hit when it is interest of the child. And the third thing is hitting should be with something like a gesture, no hurting. So the child know that you are so angry that you can hit. So if people follow this condition, that's fine. But it should be only once. Don't make habit to hit, because it doesn't benefit anyway. So best thing is not to hit. Actually, hitting is laziness. It really means that you don't want to teach your child, don't want to explain properly, because that takes time. So I will advise you, don't, instead of hitting, think really, plan that how can I explain something to my child to understand. Look, Yaqub al-Islam, his sons have, thrown his beloved son Yusuf al-Islam in the well. But he did not hit these people. He did not, he still led them to help in the same house. He lived there with him for a long time. Nothing. So that is the way of the good people. They are patient, they do sabr, and they wait for the right moment when they can explain properly.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. And the last question we'll take for today is from Ahmed, who asked, what was the approach of Shaykh Abul Hasan Ali Nadwi in tasawwuf? Was it the same as what the Deobandi people believe, as many of the sheikhs we went to were Deobandi? What did he say about Ibn Arabi and Rumi?
Yeah, Shaykh Hassan rahimahullah ta'ala was a very moderate person. He basically was an alim, scholar, but at the same time, he also believed in, moderate tasawwuf, which is not extremism. So he had, but I don't think he has any praise for Ibn Arabi. I never saw really that I think he never mentioned Ibn Arabi. But Rumi certainly, he used to praise, and in one of his books he written so much in detail about Rumi. And I wrote Shaykh Akram Nadwi's biography, a very long one, 700 pages. in which I have criticized our Shaykh Akram Nadwi for because he gave Rumi so much importance and make him like Mujaddid. And so I said, Rumi is certainly is poet and there are many good things, but his books are full of many weak hadiths, fabricated hadiths, and something really not right. So we should benefit from him, but to elevate him to as a mujaddid, that's not easy. Another Shaykh, our Shaykh, Shaykh Muhammad Yunus John Puri, Shaykh al Hadith, he used to call Rumi as Zindiq, like unbeliever, kafir. So you see, this to explain. So Abu Hasan Nadwi, rahmahullah ta'ala, moderate. Uh, but anyway, people are influenced by their time. So some people in India, they have so much respect for Rumi. He also has respect for Rumi in the same way.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. That's all for today, unfortunately. If your question hasn't been answered, please remember it and perhaps we can aim to answer it next week. Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh, for your time, and Jazakallahu khairan everyone for joining, and we'll be back next week at Thursday, 6 p.m. GMT, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.